What is happening, baby? Welcome back to the Huddle Chat Sports Show and Network. We today are going to be continuing through our coverage of the AFC South as we trek through all 32 teams in the NFL, recapping and analyzing their NFL drafts. Today, we're going down to Duval and checking out the Jacksonville Jaguars NFL draft this year. The Jacksonville Jaguars were the AFC South champions last year. Can they keep that up? We're going to talk about that and deep dive into their draft today. First, as always, I'm your host, Dallas Clark, also known as Indo is my Indo. And if you don't know, we are in year 4 now, season 4 of the Huddle Chat Sports Show. And I cannot thank y'all enough for the support, but we always need more. So if you haven't yet and you like the content, please make sure you drop a like button out here, drop that subscription, drop a follow, and hit that notifications bell and do yourself a favor. Stay in the know, because like I said, we're talking about all 32 teams drafts right now. Then we're going to dive through all 32 teams off-season approaches this year, what they've done, their biggest signings, non-signings, trades, releases, cuts, additions, subtractions, multiplications. We're talking about all of it in the lead up to your fantasy football draft and your favorite fantasy football huddle. We're building our draft day manifestos, and the small business that is now the Huddle Chat Sports Show has bigger and better moves coming every single goddamn day. But before we get started by getting into the Jacksonville Jaguars draft this season, I got to thank y'all and welcome y'all. But first, I got to invite y'all. Now's the time, as always, if you do. But if you don't, there's no peer pressure. Don't worry about it at all. But if you do, now's the time to smoke them if you got them, fill up your cup, roll something up, and let's get right into the news. So the Jacksonville Jaguars draft kind of takes a little bit of wrapping your head around because you really got to look at what the Jacksonville Jaguars are. They are a young team that is a few steps into their rebuild. They've already got their quarterback of the future. They've got a lot of really young, explosive playmakers when you're looking at those Travis Etienne's and the likes of who they got on that squad already. They are a young squad that only has room to grow, so it seems they can only get better through the draft. Am I right? So, like I said, it's a little hard to wrap my head around that Jacksonville Jaguars draft, but they did have an absolute Tonka truck load full of draft picks. They had even more than my Indianapolis Colts. I believe they had 13 picks, and they had a ton of value picks, especially on day 3 in the draft here. Personally, for me, I do think the fact that they didn't pack some of those day 3 trades, because I believe they had 3 round 7s, 3 round 6, and 2 round 5s. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 8 draft picks on day 3. I would have definitely tried to combine, or wanted to see them combine, a couple of those day 3 draft picks into something a little bit bigger, badder, and more valuable in those maybe day 1 or day 2 drafts. But nonetheless, they did get some really good additions to their roster. But the problem with my problem with the Jacksonville Jaguars draft is, for all of the draft picks that they had, I don't see a ton of them making a true impact on the roster. It doesn't seem like those draft picks that they have gotten are going to move the needle a ton. And here's why. First pick that the Jacksonville Jaguars had is going to be Anton Harrison out of OU, offensive tackle. He's a very smooth athlete. He's very versatile, can be played in a pass protection role, in a run blocking role, in a scheme that needs agile offensive linemen, in a scheme that just needs dominant bruisers. He's a smooth athlete, meaning that he can be plugged and played into virtually any system from what we've seen. He can be moved from spot to spot. Like I said, he can play guard, he can play tackle, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly where the Jacksonville Jaguars put him. He's a kind of a stand in there, take the punishment, and be able to plug and play as a starter. If the center goes down, he can even play that center position. He ultimately is an offensive tackle, though, and he may not grow to be the best offensive tackle in the game, but will eventually grow to be a very valuable piece that will help an offensive line that is in dire need of help. And he can be an anchor for that Jacksonville Jaguars team for a very long time. I think Anton Harrison is going to be a very reliable pick. He's going to be somebody that you may see in Duval for a very long time. But Anton Harrison, outside of Jacksonville Jaguars fans, is not going to be somebody that we highly regard as, like I said, one of the best tackles in the game. But you don't need the best. You just got to be good enough to help the team win. And I definitely think that he's going to be that for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their second pick in the draft, I think, is their biggest steal of the draft. Brenton Strange, that tight end from Penn State. He's a great blocking tight end, gives you flavors of Tommy Tremble in the blocking game. He didn't get played as a true tight end style, Y style tight end at Penn State. He played more of an H-back position, but in the NFL, he's going to be used more as a traditional tight end. The great thing about Strange is that he is an extremely great blocker. He's somebody that you're going to be seeing helping a lot in the pass game, opening holes in the run game, softening that edge for the running backs, and keeping that pressure off of Trevor Lawrence, no matter what side he gets put on. He can be a very sure-handed tight end. He only had like a 2.8% drop rate throughout his entire collegiate career, even though he didn't get used in the passing game much more outside of pass protection. However, if you start to develop that pass catching, that route running more than the pass catching, and that vertical threat, that threat downfield in the passing game, definitely can be a replacement for the franchise tag Evan Ingram, and can be a tight end, and can be a very reliable, sure-handed tight end, sort of like what I see in the Colts tight end draft pick, Will Mallory, that we talked about in a few episodes ago. And if you haven't seen the Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans, we've talked about the entire AFC South at this point, so I'll drop some links in the description to our previous episode. Going back, though, to Strange, the Brenton Strange pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars, when you look at the type of playmakers that they have in that wide receiver room, in that running back room, they're not that type of team that desperately needs big playmakers to come in and make splashes at the tight end position. They do need that pass protection, that help on the offensive line, and can help fit Brenton Strange into that scheme and develop him into a great tight end that can really bring you some comfort as a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. Speaking of comfort, I do want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Danklyfe clothing brand. They have us in some of the most comfortable Huddle Chat Sports Show merchandise that we could possibly ever ask for. And if you're asking, absolutely, I've been sitting here this whole time with my shirt with the Debo buttons, just waiting to show you the Huddle Chat Sports Show merchandise that Danklyfe has brought us. We also, once hit 100 subscribers, are going to be doing some large giveaways, including our very first Tampa Bay Rays. Since it's baseball season, we're going to be doing the Tampa Bay Ray giveaway first. We have a couple NFL, couple NBA, couple baseball, and of course some Huddle Chat Sports Show merchandise to give away as soon as we get to 100 subscribers. So make sure, if you haven't at this point, and if you like the content, drop a like for me, share it out to your friends, drop a subscription, and help yourself out by hitting that notifications bell. Now we're going to be getting back into the Jacksonville Jaguars draft. I think their best pick, I said their last pick, Brenton Strange, was their best value, their biggest steal. I think their best pick in the draft was Tank Bigsby coming out of Auburn. This man was a star coming out of high school, and boy, was he a star at Auburn. He's the perfect complement to Travis Etienne. He's going to be a great RB2. And one of his biggest knocks is that he can't really be seen as a 3-down back. He's more of a 2-down back, which is exactly what the Jacksonville Jaguars need to complement him with Travis Etienne. He's going to be able to set that pace and let Travis Etienne hit that home run ball for him. He doesn't waste time getting north and south, and he has incredible vision. He has an insane cutting ability, one cut, and he is gone. And you combine that with his explosiveness, he can break the big play and has that speed to completely run away from you. He's very comparable to what you get out of the young Isaiah Pacheco coming out of the Kansas City Chiefs. And you can see what Isaiah Pacheco provided to the Kansas City Chiefs, especially late in the season. Now, running through these last couple of picks, this one's a little bit longer because the Jacksonville Jaguars had the most picks in the draft, but we got 2 more to run through here. You're looking at Tyler Lacey out of Oklahoma State University. First things first, he's got an NFL-ready body. His frame, he's already big. He's got his man body already, it seems, and we're ready for the NFL as far as his frame goes. He's got a big body and extremely long arms, and he knows how to use them. He's got extremely great handwork and an immaculate swim move that he uses to get past blockers. He does tend to play a little high, being a taller player, needs to work on staying low. And he really does need to work with some veteran pass rushers and add some pass rushing moves. He's going to be played more like a traditional D end in a 4-3 scheme, maybe a 5 technique in a 5-3 defense. But you're looking at somebody that, given the time, can definitely. I see him playing a role this year and developing into a every down starter on the defense for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The last pick we're going to be talking about for the Jaguars is going to be Antonio Johnson out of Texas A&M. He was honestly a great pick for them, a great value pick, because he's one of the biggest draft slides after you look at Will Levis. He was projected to go by the end of round 3 and slid all the way down to the 5th round for the Jacksonville Jaguars. As a matter of fact, their second pick in the 5th round. So they even picked somebody before they went with Antonio Johnson out of A&M. He's a very fast player, a very fast safety, and very versatile. He can play big nickel. He can play free safety. He can play strong safety. You can put him anywhere in that safety position, and he's extremely intelligent. He has absolutely insane acceleration and is very good in coverage. One of his biggest knocks is that sometimes his speed gets used against him. He over pursues in coverage, even in tackling. So sometimes he needs to learn how to control that speed and get that breakdown before the tackle. Couple of years you give this man in a good system and can be a very reliable starter, especially if you help work on those tackles. He does have a problem with, like I said, that over pursuit. So helping him control his speed will help this man be an absolute problem for the NFL. All in all, looking at the Jaguars draft, like I said, I don't see many of these picks, maybe in the future, but I don't see many of these picks making an impact on the Jaguars, especially instantly. So with that being said, I'm going to give the Jaguars a C+, just below a B. I wanted to give them a B, but I don't want to give out, I don't want to act like I'm the NBA slam dunk contest and just give out great grades because I liked your draft. At the end of the day, like I said, I do think these were good picks by the Jaguars, which is why you get that C+, but I don't think that they move the needle much, especially instantly. Now that's going to do it for the complete. We ran through the AFC South, so we're completely done with the AFC South. Moving on to the next division here in the next episode. So thank y'all so much for tuning in today. And remember, if we're not talking about your team today, we'll probably be talking about them tomorrow or in the next week or so. So make sure you hit that notifications bell. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. It's your boy Dallas Clark, also known as Indo is my Nindo. Have a good one. Peace out, y'all. Thank you.